Hi there. I just thought I'd put out some suggestions that have helped me as far as, dying and avoiding the reincarnation soul trap. So I think for me, first and foremost, I think we need to lose attachments. So all of them actually, attachments to food, to drink, to drugs, to sweets, alcohol, pets, people, and our stuff. And of course, we love these things. We love people. We love our pets. We love our stuff. Some of us have addictions. So it's a tricky thing. I have realized that love, the way it's set up here, the way our physical and energetic and emotional system works, is really just for this reality. It's connected to nature here. We're a part of nature, and this whole thing flows together, and everything is connected to everything else in this reality. So, love is certainly not a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with it. But I think for me, it helps to understand that it's really just for here. And I can enjoy it, and I can enjoy the people I love and the things I love. But, when I leave here, it's going to be a totally different reality. So, and if it seems like when you leave the body, if you have no attachments and no regrets especially, you pretty much can get away, unless you want to come back. I just read somebody's comment under a video that said, I want to come back here. I love it here. Yeah, okay. I don't. And there's, I think people think that they'll come back to the same situation. You may come back and be living in a slum in Delhi somewhere. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean you'll be back in the same sort of life. So anyway, it's just a thought. So this feeling of being drawn to what you love or who you love, it's actually the same feeling that NDEers have when they see the light. They're drawn towards it. It's what FC calls the love bomb, and it's 1,000 times more intense than anything they've ever felt before, and it's irresistible. So to me, it's a good idea, to keep my attention inside. So this is part of meditation or contemplation is keep your attention inward. I noticed too that feeling peaceful and feeling grounded or sovereign or independent, it's the same feeling. It's the same sense. They're very similar. And those are really good to foster here, and especially when we pass over. And the other idea is that love is always good. Well, I'm sure many of us have encountered love that was not good, and it didn't turn out well. So the NDEers, they get that love bomb thing, and they just know it's Jesus. They just know it's God. They just know. How do they know? I mean, how do they know? Just because they've just been drugged with this feeling, acting purely on feeling. Never a good idea to act purely on feeling. Never. At least that's been my experience. I think also the practice of just spending time alone and enjoying your own company and going inward, connecting with spirit, whatever you want to call it, that will serve you really well. I think it will serve me very well because, you know, the dying thing is something you do alone. You may have people around you who love you and care for you. If you have an illness, somebody's taking care of you. But you know, the actual crossing over, we do by ourselves. We do alone. So that's all you'll have when the time comes. So, you know, get familiar with it. It'll be very helpful when you get to that place. Feel comfortable with it. Feel peaceful with it. And you'll be okay. You'll be okay. And, you know, as far as I can tell, we need to practice that while we're here, in the body. And the thing about you know, the thing about losing attachments is also a good thing to practice here. I mean, I think loving somebody and being attached to them are two different things, and I don't quite know how to explain it, but I think if you consider it and sit with it long enough, you'll be able to feel the difference. I'm not totally there, but I'm working on it. Because we can't hold on to anything. Can't hold on to your body, can't hold on to people you love or your pets or even your stuff. So disengaging from them, enjoying but disengaging, doing both. You know, a lot of times people also, they move away or they die or, you know, they grow distant for all kinds of different reasons already in this life. So it's the disengagement to me is a really good idea. Our beliefs in leaders and saviors are probably another downfall that we have, another attachment. Notice, you know, our beliefs in leaders have gotten us to where we are now in history. You know, we've allowed and consented and voted for other people to protect us and guide us and feed us and clothe us, and, you know, we're totally dependent on the system. So fostering independence inside of yourself really matters. The system, of course, has taken over our lives with our consent. So it's difficult to extricate yourself, but I think if we know inside of ourselves that, you know, this is not something we agree with, that we're doing it under duress, you know, you have to participate in the financial system. You just have to. There's really very little wiggle room, and there will be less and less wiggle room as far as doing anything independent of the system, knowing what you're doing. So if you stop believing in this whole crappy show, it'll do your spirit good. And, you know, think about if you still believe in saviors, you know, it's been thousands of years since we've been promised, you know, to get saved and go to a better place, whatever that is. And, you know, nobody else on this earth is going to save us either. That's becoming more and more obvious to me, at least. You know, not the Democrats, not Trump. For a while there, Putin was supposed to save us. Aliens, whatever you want to name, it's just not happening. So if you go inside yourself and Notice what it feels like to know that you are it. You're the one. Feel that. It can start feeling really good. And you don't need anybody else to tell you what to do. I mean, experts are okay. People who've had experience in certain areas, that's good. Talking it over with a good friend, that's good. But in the end, your decisions are yours. And if you're not impulsive, impulse isn't that great. But if you really ponder and you think about everything you know about a certain situation, you'll make the right choice. Take little steps, small steps, and if you realize it's not a good direction to go in, you can always turn around and do something else. But you don't need a gajillion laws to tell you, not even 10 commandments, to tell you what's right and what's wrong. So another aspect of ourselves that would be good to disengage from are useless emotions. Emotions that, like regret and like shame or guilt. So kick that stuff out, work through it. I think if you notice these emotions in you, work through them. And as I always say, nothing is your fault. It's not your fault. You were born into this system without knowing anything. Brainwashed by the system, by parents, by family, books and whatever else. And you're not responsible for the mess in this world. They want to make you feel like it, but you're not. And just really realize that. And go inside and just notice what you do to feel guilty. And you can unravel that. We also need to be responsible with what we eat, what we pay attention to, how you spend your money. And another issue for me is voting. I know voting is high on the agenda for the system and for patriots, but I've been around for a long time and I have never seen voting do much of anything. The reality here has degraded slowly over the years. It's just gone in one direction, and that's down. A couple times I've thought about voting, depending on which puppet was being held up. But after they were in for a year or so, and I was like, well, it's more of the same story, just different packaging. I think the more solid you are on your own 2 feet here, the more grounded you'll be when you leave here. And intention really matters. I think some of us still think that this reality can turn around, that we can save it. I think that's another attachment. I don't see how anybody can save this place. I get the sense that it has degraded beyond repair. I sure wish it wasn't that way. There's still a lot of beauty and joy to be found, but the parasites are on a roll, and it doesn't seem like they're going to back off. And that's, of course, because a large percentage, I would say at least 80-90% of the people are backing them. That's why this whole thing is working. All right, and remember what you pay attention to and what you engage your awareness with. It becomes a part of you. You're consenting to participate in whatever you're looking at or reading, movies, music. I think if you're watching something for research purposes, I think there's a different feel to that. If you're watching something for entertainment, you're ingesting it, and it becomes part of you, you know. And again, it's consent. And you know, also constantly looking at news. When the stupid C first started, I just hung on every word that was being said out there, because I was just hoping against hope that somebody would would inject some common sense into this whole thing. And of course, those voices were silenced, and they're still being silenced. So I have, you know, really, it really is nice to back off of watching these people and paying attention to what they want you to pay attention to. There's even this ad on the radio here that talks about how you should listen to the news and to be informed. It's a good thing to be informed, and then you can figure out how you can help. You know, they're always tugging on our heartstrings, aren't they? So, as far as this dying thing goes, part of my daily practice is imagining. I imagine my spirit leaving my body, and then I surround myself with a really nice, comfy, sphere-like, bubble-like thing that's impenetrable by anything from the outside. And I zoom myself out of here at top speed, out of this whole matrix reality, whatever this is, and just go to a clear void space that I imagine, you know. And it sounds like when you're just a spirit, that whatever you imagine becomes real. So you know, and then taking time to get used to a new way of existing. Most of us don't remember what we were before we were born. We have no idea what it's like to not have a body. Some of the NDE folks say that it feels wonderful, especially if they had an illness, or if their body was sick, or they were in pain or whatever. It was so freeing. It was so wonderful to get out. And I think if you're young, that's hard to imagine. You probably don't even want to imagine it, because your body, it's exciting to be young. It's fun to be young. You know, body still works really well. You're looking forward to you know, you're looking forward to exploring the world. Now, I don't know about young people now, but at least that's the way it was when I was young. But when you're older and your body is achy, painy, I would think I like to imagine not to have this thing hanging around. I listened to an NDE testimony yesterday, and the lady had left her body, and you know, she thought she was talking to Jesus, and she, you know, had so much love, and she felt so good, and she did not want to come back. She did not want to come back. She was sure she did not want to go back, but of course she ended up coming back, because that's those entities. That's what they do. They send you back. They love you so much that they send you back to a crippled, horrible body. She was in a very serious car accident, and she said she remembers getting back into her body, and she said her spirit was just revolted. She said it was horrible. The thing was cold, and it smelled funny, and she said it was like getting into a moldy old, sleeping bag or something. She said it was just awful. It was just awful. And the other thing that happened with her is that, of course, they always get told that they have something to accomplish in their lives. They need to go back to accomplish their mission. They have a mission. And so this Jesus character that she was talking to said, "You want to see your mission?" And she said, "Well, yeah." And he said, "But you won't, if you see it, you won't be able to remember it, though." So basically, they do the mind wipe. They do a memory wipe. So she said she saw what her mission was, but she can't remember it. And what the heck good is it to have a mission that you don't know what the heck it is? I mean, none of this makes sense, does it? It's a scam. Those entities are running a scam. I'm pretty sure of that now. So anyway, I think, to me, when I think about leaving my body behind is fine. If there's nothing after you die, that's fine too. Why would that bother you? It doesn't bother you to go to sleep every night. You're out, you don't know anything. That doesn't bother you. And if there's nothing after we die, well, then there's nothing. That's great. That would be fine with me. But if there is something, I want to know as much about it as I can. That's why I'm listening to all these NDEs and out-of-body experiencers and all of that stuff. And not coming back here. Not coming back here. Of course, we've been programmed to be afraid of death. I think it's just a program again, like everything else here. But when you listen to those testimonies, there isn't much to it. One minute they're here, and the next second they're out. They're out there looking around the room. They're going through walls, and until the light comes and gets them. It seems that if you don't have any attachments and no regrets when you leave the body, people are just, souls are just relieved. It feels wonderful. And they seem to forget this life pretty quickly. So if you keep your attention inward, I would think, with yourself, then you can play with being a spirit again, without interference, though. These entities come and drag you off right away. Don't just say no. You're doing your own thing. You don't need help. So, who knows how much fun and freedom there is out there? We have no idea, because we've forgotten. So I think it would be nice to get ready to experience that freedom again. Croaking can, I think, be something to look forward to. Not that I'm in a big hurry, but when it comes, it's fine. You'll have new journeys, new discoveries, no pain, no rent, no taxes. Thanks for listening. Bye.